Hey everyone, this is danb with Defiant Labs. And I wanted to show you what we built for the Osmosis Grants Company. We got approved for a grant in round one, and we delivered our grant today. The grant was for tax tooling for osmosis. We had already been working on a generic tax tool for the Cosmos through another grant from Strangelove and the Interchain Foundation. So this grant was really focused on adding the Osmosis GAM module compatibility to this other more generic tax tool. So that's what I'm going to show you today is what we added and how it works and how you can run it. All right, so first I will show you, these are all the uh, items that we completed. It's mostly just adding support for the different GAM module types that exist out there. And then we added support for Coinly as a destination for your CSV to go to. And then just a couple of bugs that we encountered. And then I also did a full index of osmosis, and I'll talk to you a little bit about that later. Yeah, so that's what we built for you, or that's what we added. The root of all this is something called the cosmos-tax-cli. This is what can index any generic Cosmos node. So if you go to the cosmos-tax-cli, you can see, if you scroll down, all the different types of messages that we support. So the ALC, the banks, the distribution, the gov, the IBC. So on top of this, we did these osmosis modules. So GAM, incentives, lockup, superfluid, handle some Tendermint modules as well too. And when I say we handle them, there's different levels of handling them. Some types of messages don't have any tax liability, so the only thing that we have to track is the fees that they generate. But we still have to handle them so that the indexer doesn't error when it encounters this type of message. So yeah, so this is the overall tool that was funded by Strangelove and the Interchain Foundation. And then what I showed you before were just the osmosis specific add-ons that we did for this grant. Okay, so going back to how you can use the tool. There's a couple different ways. So we have Docker containers that you can run. So the very easiest way to do this is just using our Docker Compose. So if you already have an environment with Docker Compose set up, literally all you have to do is clone the repo, modify this file, and run it. And that's what I'm going to show you today. All right, so grab the URL. You'll probably want to grab the HTTPS URL. We'll just make a directory, osmosis demo. And we'll go into the osmosis demo folder, just a clean folder right here. All right, so clone the repo, and then we're just gonna look at this in VS Code. Okay, so in here, if you look at the Docker Compose file, you can see it does a few things. So the very first thing it does is it has some logging so you can see what's going on. It has a few different services. One service is Postgres, which is the database. This is where once you index all the data, it's going to be stored in this database so that later you can query for that data. So that the normal flow is you index a block or all the blocks, and it will use our index logic to break it up by address, coin, date, all that kind of stuff. And then you use the same binary, and instead of doing the index command, you do the query command, and it will quickly look through the database for any transactions that match and output them to the format that you want. The formats that we support right now are a Cointeen, Coinly, CoinTracker, TaxBit, and we're working on CryptoTax calculator currently, and we plan to support a whole bunch more. All right, so for this demo, it's going to be osmosis focused. So this is just a database service. Down here is the indexer service. All right, so a few things to note on here is we're using the Docker image to run it, and then we're passing a few different options. So I'm going to just show you a very simple one. of just indexing one block. You can use this to index all the blocks though. I've done a full index of osmosis with this. Um, sorry, when I say full, I've done all of 2022. I haven't gone back and done 2021 yet. I plan to do that next, and then afterwards, I plan to finish 2023 and just let it kind of stay up to date as it's going. So yeah, so as long as you pick any block in 2022, I know this will work. So this is an example of when I did a swap on one of my addresses, just so that I can show you that example. These are just some of the options that you can pass. If you look back at the cosmos-tax-cli documentation, you can see all of the options through the context-sensitive help, or you can kind of see a more detailed thing of all of the options and what they do down here. All right, so this basically just sets up all the options. Then this thing, the client, this is the third service in the Docker Compose. This will create a backend API that will allow you to query the data. And then the final thing is the web service. This is a very simple web app that just basically does the query command in a web browser. So it allows you to go to a page. Actually, I don't have it launched yet, so I can't show you right now. It allows you to go to a website, type in your osmosis address, hit generate, and it will give you your CSV back. All right, so we don't have to change anything in here. So all we're gonna do is gonna open a terminal. We're gonna do Docker compose up. That's all you gotta type. So all you need to do is install Docker Compose, clone the repo, and type Docker Compose up. If you want to get a little more advanced, you can try customizing some of the stuff, like change these blocks to match when you did a specific transaction, or if you want to index all of the data to look for your own address. A couple caveats on that is you need a archive node out there that has all the data. So by default, and I hope Chainlayer doesn't mind, I'm using their public archive nodes. I have put the throttling to say only make one request per second. So that's going to take a long time to get 8 million blocks of osmosis data. When we did a full index of osmosis, we launched our own archive node and we put the throttling at like 0.00005. So we were able to do, I think we were averaging around 1,000 blocks every 50 seconds was the best performance that we could get. But yeah, you'll need an archive node that has the data available, or you'll have to build your own in order for this tool to work. Okay, so let's show you what it looks like. So Docker Compose up. It will automatically pull all the Docker containers that are needed. All right, this is it launching the Postgres database. Once it, and if you kind of see up here, the Postgres database has a health check on it. So it waits to see that it's listening before it will launch the indexer. All right, so if we scroll up a little bit, so this won't always be green, but they kind of like separate the services into colors. So this was a database. This is the client. So this is the API that is serving a web page on 8080. Or sorry, not serving a web page. That's serving the API on 8080, the query API. This is the web interface that communicates to the API that allows you to go to a website and type in your osmosis address. And then this is the indexer. So you can see the indexer has started right here. So there's the first thing, indexing rewards from this block. So just one single block. The task ended. We hit the last block, so we're allowed to exit. So now it exits the indexer. You don't have to wait for the index to finish. You can like use the web app right away, and it'll constantly just keep updating in real time. And then yeah, if you want to see the data, you come down here, you click on this link. In VS Code, it's control click. Zoom in a little bit on this. And yeah, so we come here, we say, I want to do osmosis. You choose what format you want. We'll do Coinly for this. This is running an older version of the cosmos-tax-cli web. The newer version has those other services that I mentioned in it, and I'll show you that in a second here. We are going to take the osmosis address that I know was used in here. So I'm going to grab the osmosis address, paste it in, and choose the date range you want. I'm just going to leave it at all, but you can come here and do a custom date range if you want, and hit generate. See instantly, and because there's only one block in the database, so it's super fast, we have our event CSV. And I'm going to go ahead and open this up and bring it over. All right, so you can see it created a CSV in the accounting format, or sorry, the Coinly format, I think is what we did, right? Coinly. And if you just double click these, they show you the real value. So what you would do next is you would then go to Coinly. You can log in and create a free account. So I have data in this one, so let's go ahead and delete this data. So Coinly actually has an osmosis integration built in. At the time that we started creating this, it did not. There are differences, like I don't think they support all of the same types of osmosis messages that we support, but we still need to test to see if there's anything that they have that we're missing or anything that we can let them know that they're missing. But yeah, basically you would come here, you'd say, I want to add a wallet or exchange, type in osmosis. Now, this means you're going to use Coinly's indexer. So that's not what you want to do. You don't want to click osmosis. What you want to do is you want to click create custom Osmo wallet. And we'll call this, let's call it Osmo. And we're going to import from a file. And I'm going to browse to this events file that we created. We can tag deposits. I think we already, do we do those? I guess there wasn't any on that one. So there's not going to be any deposits, but we'll just say we'll tag them as rewards. Import. Right, you can see it added the coins in there. And we can go back to our dashboard. You can see what I did. So this is leftover stuff from the previous index of one of the other wallets I was testing. So yeah, so you can just see in here, we did Osmo for Kosh is what happened. So if you look at transactions, Osmo for Kosh is what happened. So that's how the tool works. So this is what we built is we just built the tooling so that anyone can run this, anyone can index data, anyone can host it. But a lot of people are probably not going to want to run this themselves. They would rather a team or a group run this. So Defiant Labs also decided that they would like to run this for the community. So we are going to be asking for another grant for running this because it is expensive to run an archive node for the year and to keep running the indexer and to host it for everyone. But we went ahead and we did it anyways right now, proactively, just so that I can show you what it's like. So right now, anyone can go to app.sycamore.tax. And you can see here, we support a few other features in here. You can put in any osmosis address you want. Go ahead and put in this one again. You can hit generate. So this is about 2 to 7. So this is about 5.5 million transactions. So did you see how fast that was? It's about 5 seconds. So we've pre-indexed all of osmosis for 2022, and in 5 seconds we were able to get a CSV report. Go ahead and open this of every transaction that was done. All right, so you can see on my wallet here, I had a little over 1,000 transactions that I did on Osmosis. And you can see that we are tracking things like liquidity pools. We're tracking things like, where was it? I think it was down here further. Fees, staking income. So yeah, so that's a tool. I hope that this helps you guys with your osmosis taxes for 2022. Um, we have now made the tool open source as well. It had been private for the past year. Uh, we just received the final grant for it, so we went ahead and made it open source so that others can help contribute to it. So if you want to help contribute, feel free to run this tool, get familiar with it, look at all the different issues that we have. I'm very active on here in finding bugs and reporting them. So feel free to contribute if you have that skill, or just let me know if you run into any issues and I can put in the ticket for you, or you can put it in the ticket if you find an error. But yeah, we'd like to make this become a tax tool that anyone can use. Uh, we are also going to be expanding to other chains next. It'll be pretty easy to do the chains that have a lot of the common base modules already. So any chain that is basically something like Cosmos Hub, for example, they have a lot of these modules already and don't have any like extra modules that we need to support. As far as I know, there might be some. I'd have to index it to find out if there is one. I think one of them was this Tendermint liquidity thing that I think that was on Cosmos Hub that we had to add special support for. But yeah, we want to do Cosmos Hub, we want to do Juno, we want to do Akash, we want to do pretty much every single node. So we're gonna start working on adding nodes. We also want to do chains that have smart contracts using the message execute. I think we started working on, yeah, so we're tracking the fees right now for contract execution, but there's a lot of depth that goes into here. So we want to be able to support stuff like Kujira's DApp. So we want to support Orca, we want to support Fin, we want to support Bow, we want to support the Juno stuff. So anything on DAO, anything on Windex. Yeah, so our goal is to do everything in Cosmos. So I hope you enjoy this tool, and please let us know if you like it. We are a validator on Osmosis as well too. So if you would like to delegate to us, we have our links on our website. So if you go to defiantlabs.net and scroll down here to stake with us, you can support us here on Osmosis. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this demo.